Good morning, my dear students. So today problem is determine Euler's crippling load for an I section. The dimensions are 40 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 1 centimeter, and also length is 5 meters, which is used as a strut. The condition is both ends are fixed. Okay. The next thing is take the Young's modulus of the joist is 2.1 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per mm square. So by using this data, we have to calculate we have to determine the Euler's crippling load for an I section. So now by this dimension, you see this is a 40 centimeter length, width is 20 centimeter, and thickness is 1 centimeter, and also the length is 5 meters. Okay, here by using this, I will draw the diagram. Now the section is I section. It is like this. If you observe this one, this is the I section. So the given dimensions are, the total length is here, the given, that is a 40 centimeter, and width, if you observe here, so this is the 20 centimeters, and also the thickness, this is nothing but 1 centimeter. So that means, so here also the flange thickness is 1 centimeter, and here the flange is 1 centimeter. So this is the given data. As well as if you observe, if I take a section like this XX, okay, and also if I take the section like this YY. So this is the diagram of I section. Now we will solve this problem. Okay, the solution for this problem, we will start with the given data. So the given data is dimensions of I section is just now we drawn, that is a 40 centimeter, 20 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and the actual length is 5 meters. If I convert into the mm, that is a 5000 mm, and the Young's modulus is E, so that is nothing but 2.1 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per mm square. So this is the given data for this diagram. This is the I section. Okay. So this is the 40 centimeter, and also this is the 20 centimeter, even nothing but this width also, flange width is 20 centimeter. Okay, the web thickness they given is the 1 centimeter. Okay, for suppose if you need only this web dimension, how much? If you remove, this is the total 40 minus, if you remove the flange thickness and this flange thickness 1 minus 1, you will get 38 centimeter. Same like that. See, if it is a web, if you remove this one, that is a 20 minus 1, you will get 19 centimeter. Anyway, while calculating the moment of inertia, I will explain clearly. The next step is we have to calculate the moment of inertia through the x and x axis. Okay. Now we have to calculate the moment of inertia of the section about XX axis. So that is nothing but Ix is equal to moment of inertia of rectangle section. That means the total dimension minus moment of inertia of rectangle dimension. The rectangle dimension is nothing but, okay, if you see, this is also rectangle dimension. So now moment of inertia of the rectangle dimension means first we have to take the B and D, that is total dimension 20 by 40. Okay. Now I will write that 20 centimeters by 40 centimeters we have to take for this dimension, and for this dimension we have to take this one, whatever I calculated this one. So we have to remove the flange here, and here also flange web thickness. So now 40 minus 1 you will get 38, and here we will get 19 centimeter. Okay, that is nothing but 19 by, so for this one 19 by 38 centimeter. For this one, now we will calculate the moment of inertia. So I will write here that is a BD cube by 12 minus B1 D1 cube by 12. So BD cube by 12 means we will take 25 by 40 dimension, that is 20 into 40 cube by 12 minus 19 into 38 cube by 12. So once if we calculated this one, we will get 19,786 centimeter power 4. So this is the answer of moment of inertia if you take about x and x axis. The same similarly, next we have to calculate. Similarly, the moment of inertia of the section about y axis. So now we have to calculate the moment of inertia about the y axis. That is nothing but Iyy equal to moment of inertia of rectangle dimension by moment of inertia of two rectangle dimensions. What is that? I will tell you now clearly. So if you observe these dimensions here, you see, now we got the total 38, that this dimension. First we have to take this dimension. This is nothing but total 38 by 1. So we have to take 38 by 1 section, and the flanges, the top flange and the bottom flange, that is nothing but 20 by 1. So for this case, you have to take two flanges and one wave about the y-axis. So I will write the BD cube by 12. So that is nothing but 38 into 1 cube by 12 plus 2 into 1 into 20 cube by 12. So if we calculate it, this is a BD cube by 12. This is also BD cube by 12. I am multiplying with the 2 because of the two flanges are there. So once if you calculated this one, I will get 1336.5 centimeter power 4. Now take the least value of moment of inertia. So if you observe here, this is 19,786 and also this is 1336. So this value is the least value. So now we will take the I value equal to 1336.5 centimeter power 4. If I convert into in the mm, so this is 10 power 4 mm power 4. So this value is the moment of inertia. So now once if you got the moment of inertia, now coming to the problem, we have as the both ends, the condition of the strut is as the both the ends of the strut are fixed. So this is the condition. So both the ends are fixed. So at the time, take the effective length value. So what is the effective length? In the yesterday class, we discussed clearly. The LE value equal to L by 2. L is nothing but 5000 by 2. You will get the answer around 2500 mm. Now we have to calculate the crippling load P. The formula for the P is from the Euler's formula when the both ends are fixed. That is pi square EA by LE square. So the pi square into Young's modulus they given in the problem, that is 2.1 into 10 to the power of 5. And also moment of inertia we calculated 1336.5 into 10 to the power of 4 by LE, that is the effective length we calculated, that is 2500 whole square. So if you calculated this problem, we will get the answer is 4.432 mega newtons. Okay, otherwise 4432080 newtons. This is the answer we got. So this is the I section formula. This is a very important one, and you will get the in examination also, especially in the midterm examination as well as the final examination. So now moving to the another problem, that is a T section problem. Okay, so we will solve this one, the T section problem. Okay, very easiest problem, same like the I section. Okay, the question is determine the crippling load for a T section of dimension. The dimension is 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter and 2 centimeter. So this is the dimension. Okay, and the length is of 5 meters. when it is used as a strut with the both ends are hinged, the condition for the strut or column, whatever it may be, it is hinged. And take the Young's modulus is 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per mm square. So my dear students, if you observe here, we have to calculate the crippling load, that is the P value. Sometimes they will ask in examination buckling load also or collapsible load. Okay, don't confuse in that. So how to take the section is a T section. The dimensions are 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Okay. So here the length is 5 meters. When it is used as a strut, the both ends are hinged. Now take the Young's modulus is 2 into 10 to the power of 5. Now with this dimension, I will draw the T section. So please look into this one. So this is the T section. They given this dimension is 10 centimeters and also this dimension is 10 centimeters. Again, the web thickness and also flange thickness they given 2 centimeters. Now take the axis XX here and also this is the YY axis. Okay. So this is the given data. Again, this is the web thickness, that is also 2 centimeters. So this is the given data for the T section. Now I will write the given data clearly. The dimensions of the T section is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 2 centimeters. The actual length is L equal to 5 meters. So that is nothing but 5000 mm. And the Young's modulus is E value, that is 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per mm square. You see, in the T section, first of all, we have to calculate the center of gravity of the section. Okay. So the given section is symmetrical about the axis YY. Hence, the section will be lie in the YY section. Okay. So it is the symmetrical section. We have to calculate the center of gravity. Okay. Now we will take the center of gravity from the bottom up to the section here. That is nothing but Y bar. Okay. Now I will write here clearly. Let Y bar equal to distance of center of gravity of the section from bottom end. Okay. So Y bar is the distance of center of gravity of the section from the bottom end. Okay. So now before going to that, I will explain. So first we have to calculate this one, A1. Okay. Here, how much for this flange A1 as well as Y1, for this web A2 as well as Y2. By using this one, we will calculate the formula A1 Y1 plus A2 Y2 by A1 plus A2. This is the formula for calculation of Y bar. Okay. So now we will calculate clearly. So for the flange, first we will take for the flange. I will write simply for your understanding here. Okay. Or suppose this is the 10 centimeters. This is also 10. This is 2. Okay. Now we have to calculate this Y bar. So for the flange, that means if I take for the flange, okay. So what is the A1? This is a 10 by 2. So 10 by 2 equal to 20 centimeters square. Now what about Y1? Y1 is nothing but distance of center of gravity of area A1, okay, from bottom end. Okay. So what happens? So this value is up to here. So this is total 10. If you remove this 2 for the flange, it is up to here. It is 8 mm, 8 centimeter, and center of this flange is 2 by 1. We will get 1. So here I will get 8 plus 1 equal to 9 centimeters. Same like that, I will calculate A2. So with this value, what about this? For the web, this is a 2 centimeter. This value is 8 centimeters. Okay. So A2 is 8 into 2. I will get 16 centimeter. How I got this 8 means 10 minus 2. Okay. This is total 10. I am removing the flange with 2 centimeters. So now same like that, Y2 is nothing but the total 8 by 2. Okay, so I will get 4 centimeters. Now we calculated A1, Y1, A2, Y2. Now calculate the Y bar. Okay, so the Y bar formula is A1, Y1 plus A2, Y2 by A1 plus A2. So A1 value is 20, Y1 value is 9, plus A2 value is 16, Y2 value is 4 by 20 plus 16. So we will get total 6.777 centimeters. Okay. So this is the value we have to take from the calculation. The center of gravity is located at 6.77 centimeters. Okay. Now we have to calculate the other thing is that moment of inertia. Now I will write here. Moment of inertia of the section about the x axis, that is ix is equal to how much? Okay, so ix is bd cube by 12, that is b is total 10. Okay, but d is nothing but if you remove the flange up to here only, that is 8. Okay, so what happens? B is 10, d is 8, bd cube by 12 plus, so bd cube by 12 plus a into y bar. A1, if you take A1 is the 20, so A2 is how we calculated. The total distance is 9 for suppose. I will draw here the y bar, up to here is 9 minus remove the center of gravity, that is the y bar. This is the y1. So y1 minus y bar, that is 9 minus 6.77. You will get 2.223. Okay, the answer is 2.223 square plus about the x-axis plus again if I take the second one for this case about the web, so that is a b is a 2, d is a 8 cube by 12 plus a2 is 16. Again same like this, you have to remove 8 minus 6.777. Okay, sorry, 1 second. So you will get here 16 into 2.777 square. So once if we calculated here, we will get total 314.221 centimeter power 4. Okay. So same thing, whatever we calculated here with regarding the ixx value. Okay. But the thing is that once if you calculated this one, this is a 2.223 square. So same like that, we have to calculate this one also. So the first one up to 9 we have to remove. So y2 value is 4 minus 6.777. So here if you see, so this one is the, we got y2 value is around here only, that is y2 value is 4. So 6.777 minus 4, I got 2.777. Okay, next value, calculate the moment of inertia about the axis y, that is a bd cube by 12. Directly we will calculate plus 8 into 2 cube by 12. Okay, directly we will get 172 to 70 power 4. So the next thing is that the least value is here only. So take I value is 172 72 power centimeter power 4. If you convert into mm, 172 into 10 power 4 mm power 4. Okay, now the since, okay, the strut is hinged, If you observe, the condition is hinged at the both ends. So LE equal to L. The L value is 5 centimeters, 5 meters, that is converted into the mm, that is 5000 mm. Now calculate the P value, that is the crippling load. The P formula is when the condition is both ends are hinged, that is a pi square EA by LE square. Okay, if I substitute here, E is a 2.1 into 10 to the power of 5. Okay, so here they given 2.0. Then I value is 172 into 10 power 4 by LE value is the 5000 square. Okay, the finally I got 135,805.7 Newton. So this is the crippling load. So this problem already you people done, in strength of materials 1 as well as the engineering mechanics, same like that, this type of problem, but the T section problems you calculated the procedure also same, but here at the end we are calculating the crippling load. Okay, this is the second important problem. In the today class I will explain the third problem also. The third problem also very easiest problem. Determine the ratio of buckling strengths of two columns. So we have to calculate the ratio of buckling lengths. Okay, one is hollow and other is solid. Okay, if you observe here, one is hollow and other one is solid. So both are made of the same material and have the same length. If you observe here, both lengths are made with the same material as well as the same length, and the cross sectional area and the end conditions all are same. Okay, so now the internal diameter of the hollow column is half of the external diameter. They given a condition is the internal diameter of the hollow column is half of its external diameter. Now I will solve the problem. Coming to the solution. Okay, let's take small d equal to diameter of solid column. So first let us take small d is the diameter of the solid column, and let us take capital D is the external diameter of the hollow section. So now we taken the small d is the diameter of the solid column, capital D is the external diameter of the column. If you see, there is a condition here. The internal diameter of the hollow column is half of external diameter. So now what about the internal diameter of hollow column, hollow shaft, whatever it may be? Internal dia of hollow shaft is nothing but capital D by 2. Here capital D is the external diameter. Okay, moving to the another step. So both the shafts are made with the same material as well as the same length and also same cross-sectional area at the end condition. So the areas of the solid and hollow shafts are both the same. So what happens? The condition is area of solid shaft equal to area of hollow shaft. So if you observe here, so the formula for the solid shaft is pi by 4 d square. Area of the hollow shaft is pi by 2 into capital D square minus small d square. So here the small internal diameter, that is the capital D by 2. So substitute here capital D by 2 whole square. Okay. Now if you observe here what happens. So sorry, this is pi by 2, not pi by 4. So this pi by 2 will cancel. So d square equal to d square minus d square by 4. So this is nothing but 3d square by 4. Small d value equal to square root of 3 capital D by 2. So this is the small d value we calculated. Now the buckling load of the column of the from the Euler's formula P equal to pi square A by L square. This is the formula for the buckling load of the column. Okay. Now we know as the shafts having, if you see the shafts, all the material and also length is same, cross sectional areas are same, and also same end conditions for the both solid and hollow conditions. So what happens? Hence area and also Young's modulus and L are both of shafts are same. Okay. So here the buckling load, whatever it may be, is directly proportional to the I because of this condition. Okay. So now we will take, let us take P1, P2. So what is P1, P2 here? This is the buckling load of hollow column. And also P2 is the buckling load of solid column. Okay. And I1 equal to least moment of inertia of the hollow column. So now here if you observe here, P is proportional to I. Okay. So now first we have to calculate the I1. I1 is the least moment of inertia of the hollow column. The formula is pi by 64 capital D power 4 minus capital D by 2 whole power 4. If you solve this one, we will get like this: pi by 64 D power 4 minus D power 4 by 16. So finally pi by 64 into 15 by 16 D power 4. This is the I1 value. What about I2 value? I2 value is nothing but least moment of inertia of the solid column. The solid column formula we know directly, that is pi by 64 into small d power 4. So now we know I1 and I2. So from the above equations, we know P is proportional to I here. So what happens? P by P1 I1 equal to P2 by I2. So again P1 by P2 equal to I1 by I2. Now already we calculated I1 and I2. I1 is nothing but pi by 64 into 15 by 16 d power 4. I2 is pi by 64 d power 4. Now substitute into this equation. What happens? One second. Yes. What happens here? Yeah, please wait for 1 second. Yes. So here, if I substitute here in the I1 and I2 values, yeah, I1 by I2. So here I1 is nothing but pi by 64 into 15 by 16 capital D power 4 by I2 is pi by 64 D square. So here if you observe pi by 64 will get cancelled. Then a remaining is like this. Okay, D power 4. So now it is calculated like this: 15 by 16 capital D power 4 by small d we know already, that is a root 3 capital D by 2 whole power 4. Okay. Then next what happens? The next step is 5 by 16. I will write again D power 4 by root 3 by 2 D whole power 4. So this is a 15 by 16 D power 4 by 9 by 16 D power 4. So what happens? Root 3 D whole power 4 by 2 power 4. So root 3 power 4 means 9. D power 4 by 2 power 4 means 16. Same I wrote here. So the next step is 5 by 16 in D power 4 and D power 4 will get cancelled. And also 16 by 16 will get cancelled. So finally we got 15 by 9. This is nothing but 5 by 3. So it is value is 1.667. So this value is P1 by P2. The final answer is 1.667. It is the buckling load of hollow column as well as the buckling load of solid column. I will write here. So finally we got the ratio of buckling load of hollow column by buckling load of solid column equal to 1.667. So this is the answer for this problem. Okay. So